You're welcome to PERICLEZ, your favorite personal development and self-help platform where we get to talk about books and all of the wonderful things we can get to derive from them to make ourselves better. My name is Inyang Ate Inyang, and I have with me here a remarkable individual. He is a leadership and life strategist. My personal coach, Victor Onochie. Once again, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Mr. Inyang.
We'll go straight to the point. Today we are talking about a book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, written by Stephen R. Covey. And I hear it is number 1.
Yep.
Number 1 on
For me?
for you.
Yeah.
Globally, what's its rating?
So on Goodreads, it's actually the number 1 self-help book right now.
Number 1.
Yeah.
That says a lot about it then.
And it was written 1989.
1989.
Yep.
Well, I think that makes it a bit different from some of these books that have created so much impact. Within like the first decades of the last century and the
Books
second,
like
third.
As a Man Thinketh, Think and Grow
Think
Rich.
and Grow Rich and all that.
Those ones are older.
So this is a bit of a
It's
contemporary.
it's more close by.
So what exactly about this book?
7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Yeah.
I always find it difficult trying to talk about it because, like I say, I'm a huge fan of what Covey did here. I call it the Book of Wisdom. The name for me doesn't really do justice because it's like a whole lot of books in one book. For instance, he has a book called First Things First, which is like some part of this being more expanded. So the thing is that he takes a holistic view of the human experience in trying to really live an effective life, to be an effective person. He talks about, first of all, he basically starts from us understanding that life is inside out. Life is coming from inside to outside. You know, basically almost like what As a Man Thinketh, James Allen talks about, that same principle. Then basically he's talking principles. Then he talks about paradigms and principles. Now, paradigms is basically how we see life, how we experience life, yes, and all. A very interesting tale, story he told in the book was about a man who was in the train with his kids, and he too was in the train, and the children were making all sorts of noise and all, and everybody just felt this kid.
I remember the story. Creating a lot of
distractions, and all, and they just felt like everybody felt that same way. That why is this man not controlling his kids? But at some point, he had to take the responsibility to go and meet the man and say, "Please, could you caution your children? They are really making noise here, and people are." And the man just snapped out from like a dream and was like, "Oh, sorry." That actually he just lost his wife, their mother, so he's still struggling on how to take it. They just left the hospital now. She just died, and so that's the thing. But let him attend to them. And he said at that moment, his mind is like everything snapped. It was like a totally different perspective of the situation.
As in the person who
felt
to complain.
Exactly, who went to complain, and he said all of a sudden empathy came in, sympathy came, like, "Oh, your wife just died. Sorry, I didn't know about it."
Oh yes, I remember. So that was a case of
paradigm.
Seeing the experience or the behavior of those children from a different standpoint.
Yes. So it's hugely important. So he tries to make that fact that how we see life is really from how we are.
We are.
So
okay, but this book was quite. Meanwhile, this is not my copy. This is how come you have 2 copies anyway?
Okay.
This is mine. It looks like a bit spent. Like you will imagine, you think I did more reading than Victor. I'll set this aside, so we'll use this.
And I am not happy what you did to that book.
No, don't you think I read so much? I've used this so well. You should be happy with me that I've done this much. I had to go through a lot trying to read this book. It wasn't as interesting. And Victor prevailed on me. We fought, we argued. I just thought it was not the book for me until I got to read it all over again.
Yeah.
And I think differently. So you understand why this book looks.
I get you were fighting with the book.
I was fighting. I was fighting with the book. So really.
Yes.
Now this book appears. I was explaining to someone. It felt like I was doing some mathematics.
Yeah. Well, he's an academician, so he's a professor and all. So probably his style of writing might not be the philosopher, the whole James Allen poetic and all that. Yeah, so you probably will get that there. Okay. It's a challenging, because I first encountered this book way back in 2001, and I just loved the way the book was. I don't know why I loved it, but I couldn't crack the book, until say maybe later in 2010.
So my experience wasn't strange.
No, I don't think it was strange. I think people struggle with it. I know some people who have the book and it's just there, they have not read it. I know a lot.
Okay. So why would someone read this book truly? I know you talked about the paradigm shift.
Yes.
Yeah. I imagine the very first part of this book seemed like so much that was not necessary, or that is not necessary. That was my thought.
That was your thought?
Yes.
Okay.
And so why would someone go beyond the first 40 pages to the next 50, then 60, and then run to the end of it? So, I mean, I'm talking about the fact that it can be such a difficult read.
Well, it will be a difficult read to different people. There are some people that immediately they latched on it.
Is that possible?
Yes. People read it and it hit them. I know a lot of people that read it and...
What does it have to do with what part of my brain? I know you keep talking about that I have a left brain or something.
He talks about it, that some people are more left brain and some people are more right brain. Yeah, and all those kind of things.
Is this where you got that from?
Yeah. He said,
got it from here?
Yeah, it's there. People are more logic than intuitive, though we are supposed to have like a balance. Yeah, but some people look at life more from the worm's eye view, while some people look at life more from the bird's eye view.
Okay.
People are more feeling, people are more practical, different. Yeah.
Some people are logical.
Yeah.
Now, you'll permit me to move straight to the habits?
Awesome. No problem.
Fine. Thank you very much. The first habit there is proactivity.
Be proactive.
Actually, it talks about 7 habits.
Yes.
And we'll go ahead to mention them. The first one is proactivity.
Yep.
Yes, start with the end in mind.
Begin with the end in mind.
And then it goes to, what's the third one?
Put first things first, sorry.
Put first things first. Then always think win-win.
Yeah, think win-win. Seek first to understand before being understood. Then synergy, and then sharpen the saw.
What page is that, please?
Oh, where I'm reading the content. That's what I'm looking from.
That's what you're getting that from the content?
Yeah, basically from the content.
No, I need to get that straight up.
Go to the beginning.
So this is it. It actually has this.
Okay, this is basically how he broke it down.
Okay.
So basically what he's saying is the first 3 habits are more of personal victory. He's calling it independence, being independent. And then the other three habits, think win-win, seek first to understand before being understood, and synergy, that is interdependence, being able to work with people. Okay. So he's saying that first of all, you have to have independence, you have to have personal victory to really succeed in public victory. You have to succeed with self first before, to be better effective with other people. Yeah.
So I'll read those habits again. The first one is be proactive.
Yeah.
And then the second one is begin with the end in mind.
Okay.
The third is put first things first.
Yeah.
Now I now move to the next level, which is the public win.
Yeah.
Which calls for you to think win-win. And then it moves to seek first to understand, then be understood.
Yeah.
And then it goes to the 6th, which is
synergy.
And then the last, which is sharpen the saw. I just wonder why this is not within the circle. When you buy your copy, you'll be able to see what I'm talking about here. But it's actually outside the circle. We'll come to that later. But let's start with being proactive. What exactly is it? And maybe I should read this quote. He says, our behavior is a function of our decisions, not our conditions. We have the initiative and responsibility to make things happen. That's responsibility.
Exactly.
And he says the ability to choose your response. So you do not blame the economy, the circumstances, or conditioning for our behavior. It doesn't matter how the weather is. If it is good, you feel good. If it is bad, you feel good. Irrespective of what the weather is.
That's a proactive person.
That's you being proactive. It doesn't matter what life brings. You condition it the way you want. Proactive people carry their own weather with them.
Yes.
They are value driven and not driven by the conditioning of others.
So basically, he's talking about the way we the way we respond to life, and he's saying proactive people, they make a deliberate choice that puts them in a place where they are responsible. He's saying that they don't react to things per se. Not that they don't react or not, but what he's trying to
they don't make
they lead their experiences.
Okay, they make it happen.
Yes. So you probably decided you wanted to jog. Probably it's a health goal for you, and then all of a sudden you woke up in the morning and rain is falling and all that. The proactive person might say, okay, well, I have a goal to hit on this for the next 1 week, and okay, if rain is falling today, who knows, it will still fall tomorrow. I go out and jog. You understand? And he goes out and he jogs. The rain
is there
or not. Yes.
As in, nothing stops him
from doing what he needs to do.
Nothing for him. Nothing
outside is stopping him. Yes.
Do what? But could this? You know, the thing about these books, a lot of times, I just wonder: can people really regulate their lives that much? As in, can this really guide people to behave? Can it really help people behave in a particular manner? Will people? Is it possible for you, for instance, to have digested this well enough to make sure that it gives you understanding of life, and then helps you to behave in a particular manner?
Okay, so for me, what I see is when you read books, it expands your consciousness. It's like building knowledge. That means what you know right now in life is what you are running with. That's what you're running with. But when you read a book, you're putting in something more that gives you more option to look at life, to deal with life. So for me, when I read the book, I don't read the book and just say, oh, okay, this is the 7 habits of my life. I have to be following it. No, it's just that I know that I have to look at life from a proactive aspect. So it's an awareness for me.
Can you give me an instance where this will come to play in your life?
I give you an example of exercise, for instance.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
There are also situations where
you have to do something. It doesn't matter if it's raining. It doesn't matter if someone wants you to do something else. You just go on to do what you want.
Yes, you have to do what you want to, what you have decided to do. It's more like how you relate to life. You understand? You don't make excuses per se. So he also talks about in Be Proactive, he talks about circle of influence and circle of concern. And he says most people, especially reactive people, dwell in their circle of concern. What is he trying to say? You set a goal and you want to achieve something. The reactive people would start looking at what they don't have and quit. They look at, okay, they need to get this. They don't have the money. They let it go. The proactive person is thinking, okay, I don't have the money to do this. Can I learn it instead of paying for it? So I schedule. Can I learn? The skill. So they schedule. At least if I learn it, I can do it. Okay. I want to go to somewhere, or whatever the goal is. But they are always thinking, which part can I do to make myself capable of achieving
what is within
my own
exactly
area of influence. And the thing about that is, the more you focus on your area of influence, the more it expands, because it's almost like you're building resourcefulness. You understand? So
I think another very interesting thing about proactivity is where you begin to negate the effects some other person will have on you.
Powerful.
As in where you do not imagine that you are limited by some other person's policies, opinions, suggestions, and you just want to do what you want to do, and you don't do something because some other person wants you to do, right?
Yeah, he talked about, he said, between stimulus and response there is a space, and within that space lies the power for us to choose, and in our choices determines our growth, our life, our destiny and all. What is he saying? That in the time something happens to you, and the point where you react to that thing, there is a space that allows you to make a choice. So I say something to you, there is that place where you have the ability to now think, do I want to respond back or do I just let it be? But some people they have gotten so much that space is so tight. That means they are just flipping.
Wow.
But the proactive person is gradually stretching that space, that he's able to, when something is happening to him, he can make a conscious choice.
He can make a conscious
So it's a
choice.
practice.
So he owns.
He owns.
His
Yes,
response.
yes,
Whoa.
yes. And he, you know, obviously,
That's some discipline.
it's discipline, and it's something. It's a habit you have, like he's talking about habit.
Okay, you have to grow it.
Yeah, and
it start from somewhere.
Yes,
so.
you have to. It's like I said, it's awareness, knowing it. You know, now you know it, so you can start exercising it. It will happen. You probably have your wife and she does something and you snap, but you now know that there is a choice. If you accept the fact that there's a choice, then you start exercising it. Even if you fail, you always know, I had the choice to actually, it's just that I was feeling like I wanted to.
I could have done it otherwise.
Exactly.
So that's the quote here.
Yeah,
It
from,
says, there's something here. He said, he who has so little knowledge of human nature as to seek happiness by changing anything but his own disposition will waste his life in fruitless efforts and multiply the grief he proposes to remove. But how do these people write this? I don't just. This is strong. Did you? As in, he wastes his life. As in, your efforts to want to determine your experience by the essence
outside,
of
yes. You don't want to sort yourself.
Instead of sorting yourself,
Yes,
it's just
yes.
as you multiply the grief you propose to remove.
You know, there's a quote in this book that I almost take instructive. He said, and whenever that quote, I had to imbibe it in myself.
Okay.
He said, and it's a key for in leadership. He said, the very moment you think the problem is out there, that very thought is the problem. Because now let's look at it. The moment you think the problem is out there, you do not take the time to consider how you can approach that situation differently. Because it could be you that is the problem. But it's easy for us to think about ourselves and think the problem is out there. So he said, the very moment you think the problem is out there, it is that thought that is the problem.
Wow.
So that's a huge one.
So there's to reinforce what you said. They said proactive people focus their efforts in the circle of influence.
Yes.
They work on the things they can do something
about.
Reactive people instead work or focus their efforts in the circle of concern.
They're always worried, complaining.
Okay. So my own note was it is important about it's important about proactivity to know that past mistakes fall under the circle of concern. Oh, you can't do anything about it anymore, right?
You let it go. Use it as a learning. Okay, so for instance, the proactive person will take it as a learning experience, while the reactive person will start dwelling on it as is brooding on it.
It's just an experiencing the grief.
He's enjoying. They are not easy. It's not easy, quite all right. It's not easy, but then we tend to do that.
All right. On the second habit, begin with the end in mind.
So that is like the sweet spot for me.
It is?
Yeah, no, that part, that habit is crucial.
Begin with the end in mind.
Yes.
It says begin with the end in mind is to begin today with the image, picture, paradigm of the end of your life as your frame of reference or criterion by which everything else is examined. Every other thing that you're going to be doing from here is based on the picture of the end in mind.
Yes.
I'm even surprised we didn't talk. Is this where he talked about picturing yourself being in your own funeral?
Powerful. That's it. Basically, that's what he started the habit with.
Which the entire
begin with the head in mind.
Beginning with the
yeah,
end
that's
in
where he
mind.
talks.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where he talks about it.
He said you should imagine that you found yourself in a particular place, and different people are called out to
talk about the person in the funeral.
The person,
and the person was you.
In the casket.
Yeah.
And if you were the one to talk about yourselves, as in you open the casket and you find yourself there, you get.
And people were there talking. What would you want to be said about you?
To be said about you.
So it's more like having a perspective of the kind of life you would want to have lived, and knowing it, you start living it from now.
From now.
Yes. And for instance, I think it's one of the major things that even got me into coaching and all. And I work with people, and the major challenge is people struggle with clarity, what they want their life to embody, what they want their life to represent. It's a struggle. We don't take the time to explore that. For instance, you want to be somebody seen as a trustworthy person, for instance. You have to be deliberately working every day to imbibe that character. That means you have to be stretching yourself to ensure that everything you are doing shows that.
Okay, you may hold that thought. That's
Okay.
very, very important because something just hits me now.
Okay.
As in, hearing you right now, I just realized that it is very easy for someone to have created a picture
Yes.
of himself in the future.
Yes.
A lot of times, people will create a picture of who they are relative to. I'm a doctor. I'm a lawyer. I'm a famous person.
They tag themselves.
You're right. And beyond that, still, this book actually talks about you also.
The innermost person, the
paying
character.
attention to the character.
Yes.
Oh, the character.
The character.
As in that you're a lawyer.
Yeah.
You're a particular. I think that's where it actually.
The character.
That's where, and those are the things he focused on in the beginning of the book.
Yeah. That's what he wanted to hit.
That's what he
the
wanted to
character comes first before every other thing. The character first.
So if you're going to be,
You could be a doctor, you could be anybody, but who are you first before you are a doctor? You understand? Are you a trustworthy doctor? Are you a doctor of integrity? Are you a doctor who cares? The character first. Who are you first before you start looking, I want to be a successful entrepreneur and all that? Because he said that character is going to have a major impact in all those things you think.
So, and you can apply this to every aspect of your life, like your marriage. If you start with the end,
very important.
You have a picture of what your marriage is supposed to look like. So,
my brother,
you come here.
Highly, you are. Keep on saying, preach, preach, preach. My wife has read it. Like she had to. I have a mastermind. She came into it and she had to read it. And we had to create a family mission statement. Mm-hmm. In marriage, some of the challenges most times is couples don't have a picture of what they want their marriage to look like. Because when you have that, when you are having misunderstanding and you are looking at that picture, that this is what we want, and you agree on that picture, it affects the way you people are even arguing. Because people want to.
You're supposed to argue and find yourself
towards. Yes. But when there's no model, there's nothing. Ego takes over. Like somebody can get, and that's why at the end of the day, it just breaks out. People are not. Will I say? They are not able to handle even when things get a little bit difficult. Why? Because they have not gotten to that point where there is the synergy of saying we want to create the best marriage experience. Not that we won't have challenges, but I believe we can make it to that place.
So what makes that happen is that you're conscious,
deliberate.
You're deliberate and conscious of the end.
You like talking about being deliberate,
I love
but that's it.
I talk a lot about being deliberate.
So that's it.
Because one of the biggest challenges is
drifting.
As you're just drifting. Anything goes.
Yes.
So, and as it is with character, is also a challenge with what you even become in terms of occupation.
Yes. You
just
drift into an occupation.
This business is good today.
You just continue. Society says
not in the picture. It's not in the overall picture.
Yes, and it's not something you don't really like it. You probably are just doing it because it's a trend. The money
is
for that time. Yeah.
Or maybe it's even interesting, but it's still not in the picture. It's still not in the
bigger. Yeah. It's not something you're really, really passionate about.
So there's a quote. It says, "It's incredibly easy to get caught up in an activity, activity trap, in the busyness of life.
Yes.
To work harder and harder at climbing the ladder of success, only to discover it's leaning against the wrong wall. It is possible to be busy, very busy, without being effective." Oh my goodness. Were we going to were we going to leave this out?
No, why would we? How
efficiency
and effectiveness. we couldn't.
No, we're not supposed to be laughing. No, come on. Okay, now this particular issue, effectiveness.
I'm laughing because I've been there.
What exactly? Okay, just talk about yourself. What happened to you?
We all get to that point where we're just we're just hustling. We're just chasing. We're just trying to make the money. We're just every day you're just waking up, going to that job, being busy. You look at your timeline, Facebook and all, you see people are busy, you too, you're being busy. But when you come back home sometimes, there is this thought, where is this leading to? What am I even doing with my life? Now, This is some of the major things I deal with when I deal with leaders, because most times, yeah, they're successful, but then there is that part where they feel empty at some point. Wow. What was it all about?
Somebody has done so much.
Yeah,
in fact, you're seeing him from outside and you're considering him a success.
Yes!
And you think he should be happy and satisfied with his life. But the thing is, there's an emptiness.
Yeah.
With all that he has.
Yeah, it's not meaningful.
It's not meaningful.
It's not meaningful inside. It's not meaningful. And that's the part where we have to go inwards and be able to recognize what is most important for us.
Most important.
Yes.
And that is, and it has to take you you have to go to the end.
Yes.
And
work it back.
What that is.
Yes.
And then you begin to play it backward.
Yes.
So, please, I'd like you to talk about that efficiency.
Okay.
Versus
effectiveness.
It is very, very important.
Okay, so I think there is a quote where he said, where he talked about Warren Bennis and Peter Drucker. I think he acknowledged them with that quote, where they said, leadership, I'll use this quote and I'll explain. Leadership is doing the right thing, while management is doing things right. So
I remember that.
Yeah. So effectiveness basically is leadership. Effectiveness is doing the right thing. The choice of aligning your actions to the right thing first.
Because that's where he talked about leaning the ladder on
the right wall. Exactly. So efficiency is doing it the right way, the systems, the techniques and all that. But first of all, are you even on the right wall? Are you doing the right thing? So leadership is effectiveness. Management is efficiency. But we get it all wrong in society where we just assume the manager is leader and all. The leader determines the vision. That is the choice of the right wall. Where are we going to? Management ensures that we do everything right going there. That's efficiency. Management is measured in efficiency. Management measures things. The financial statements, the productivity level and all. That's management. Leadership is saying, are we getting the results based on where we're going to? What are we trying to achieve in going to this place? So that's effectiveness, and that's what he's talking about too. Effectiveness first.
That's where the effectiveness is
yes,
the most important.
It's more important.
You know why this is very disturbing? As it is very disturbing when you realize that a lot of people are doing
efficiency. They are
doing things right. As in, they know how to do everything right.
But they are not.
Know how to drive the car. They know how to write the letter, but they are probably not writing the letter to the right person. They're probably not writing the right letter in the first place.
Some people are probably good in a lot of skills, but they have not believed themselves to be able to be doing that thing. They have not, will I say, with the right vision, for instance. You probably would imagine that, okay, you go to a wedding and somebody is good in photography and all, but there's a guy that is charging ₦1 million in the same photography. Not that this guy isn't good, but this guy has channeled himself in the right, with a vision, understanding the value of what he brings to the table. But this guy is probably doing it as a meal ticket, kind of. So he has not been able to. So they're efficient, but that guy is effective more. I'm just trying to. Now there's a particular example he gave, which was deep for me. He gave an example of the Titanic. He said,
yeah, I remember.
Yeah, he talked about the Titanic going to hit an iceberg. Now, leadership is to determine where the ship is going to. Now, if the ship is going to hit the iceberg, what different or what good does it make that everything is neat inside the ship, the whole chairs are arranged, the people are getting good services in their room, but meanwhile the ship is going
in the wrong direction.
So that is leaning the ladder against the right wall.
Let's not waste so much time
on that.
Actually happens to be one of the most
it's
important
huge.
parts. This one makes this book one of the most interesting books for me. One of the most interesting part of this book.
It's a major tool for me.
They are so efficient at doing what you're doing. Meanwhile, it's taking you in the wrong direction. I think it's a very, very remarkable observation.
Yeah.
Now, the third habit, which is
Think win-win.
no, the third habit is just
Put first things first. Sorry. Yeah, so basically you can't put first things first without beginning with the end in mind, because it is
when you know where you're going to,
then
you know the things
that are
most
important to you. Because it's easy for us to get into the urgency and business of life and forget about the things that are important to us.
You talked about the quadrants, right?
Yeah, that's what he talks about, the time management quadrant.
The time management quadrant, as in where you find you can in all of the activities you're having an entire day or an entire week. You are not able to prioritize. So this actually helps you prioritizing on what is the most important.
Taking you to the life you want, what you want to get. Because if you're not careful, if you leave it to chance, life is already going to create things for you to get busy. You will get busy either ways. But you have to be deliberate. You probably have to block time. You probably have to understand your priority. And your priority comes from you beginning with the end in mind, you being proactive, you knowing what is most important to you, so that you can make choices based on your priority.
Victor, don't be tired that I get to bring this up from time to time. Can people be that careful?
It's a discipline.
We are really busy sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes we're so busy, and can we really be sure that we are doing the right things?
I'll ask a question. If you look at...
You'll ask me a question.
I'll ask you a question.
Okay.
If you look at the most successful people, and if you look at every other person, what's the difference in the time they have in a day? Is there any difference?
There's no difference. We have the same length of time.
But obviously it seems that some people are channeling their time, their energy to some things, while some are channeling their energy to some other things. And just like cause and effect, reality is unfolding in their lives. There are people you know who have gone from struggling to, of the story of Oprah, different people. It took them understanding what is important, being able to say no to the urgent, being able to say no to the distractions. It takes a lot of discipline to do that.
Things are urgent.
Some things are urgent.
But they are not important. But some things are
that is the trick.
Things important
and urgent.
And not urgent.
That is where we need to channel our. For instance,
we have to make it important, so it doesn't have to be urgent.
Yes.
As in, we don't have to hurry, to make it happen. As in, we have to be proactive enough to make sure we don't find ourselves panicking. We are not doing it in a panicky manner.
Yes. So
we don't find ourselves in the panic mode.
Yeah. What he's trying to say is that when you set out your goals, your health goals, your business goal, whatever. Now, life can continue. What he's saying, you have to focus the area called important but not urgent. It means that it requires discipline. It is not acting on you, it's not forcing you. Nobody will tell you must read the book to learn about business. Nobody will tell you that you need to come up with your business plan and all that.
Or you need to exercise.
Or you need to exercise. So that is the important but not urgent. You have to be proactive about that side. But important and urgent is the fact that, okay, you need to wake up. If you're going to work, you need to go to work. If you don't go to work, you get fired. Oh, your wife, there's an issue, you need to... So important and urgent and all that. But sometimes that box gets overwhelming. And that's where you get busy. You're overwhelmed. That box is filled. Now, why is that box filled? Because you have not... you have not begun with them. You have not pictured your life, the life you want, and you're not working on it deliberately. So what that does, there is a box called urgent and not important. That's the deceptive box, where you're probably you probably are going to so many meetings that are not really you probably
it doesn't even it certainly is not taking you to
it probably was not important for you to be there. You probably could have delegated somebody to be there, things like that. You are trying to attend to so many emails which you probably would have delegated. That's a tricky one. Then there's even the worst part, the not urgent and the not important. Some kind of wasting time, gisting, talking, Facebooking, and all that stuff. Now, people complain, I don't have time. But when you check, if you log the time they spend in
On this,
Instagramming. You could be deliberately using Instagram as a marketing tool and all that, so it's deliberate. But the time you spend and it's almost like you're almost depressing yourself even in Instagram. That time you probably would have used it in the aspect of important time.
Okay, interesting. I think I'll come back to that. I'll just hold that thought. Okay, think win-win. Think win-win. I mean, in a society where everybody wants to get, everybody wants to win, how careful can one be to make sure that in a negotiation you are also hoping or planning or working towards the other person benefiting from that deal?
Okay, so in that part he actually also said it that there are still situations of win-lose. In a war, there are situations where you can't really negotiate and all that. But the idea is to think win-win, especially when it comes to things of relationship. For instance, I'm trying to go into business with you. If I am more lost in what it is in need for me, and not even considering what is in need for you, obviously it will show, and at a point in time,
The business.
yes, because at the point you're not getting your own side of it. So he's saying think win-win. In relationships, in marriages, what do each of us get? So if I'm a man and this is my wife, what does she get? She's thinking, what do I get? If we can get to the point where we see how each other wins, everybody is happy. You understand? Yeah. So that's the mindset. So he said it's a character thing. You need to have sorted out being independent, that side, to be more effective, to think win-win. So that it is not even a thing of you thinking lose-win. It's like you're trying to please people now. You understand? So
okay,
yeah. There's that. You get
that's the reality sometimes. Yeah. People are just there.
It's happening. Even in marriages and all. Yeah, people are getting spent
and burnt out.
Yes.
Because they're not getting their own side of the
The equity is not here.
Okay, and then that will be the fifth. Seek first to understand, then be understood.
Yeah. So that's very important, even especially in coaching, in any relationship with a human being, because it's more like respecting the emotional space of another person. Sometimes you're saying some things, and I'm like, okay, so what you mean is we're going to do this. I say, no, you don't get what I'm trying to say. It means I have not understood you. You understand? He gave an analogy, like an instance where you go to a hospital. You probably have an issue with your eye, and as you're talking, before you even start speaking, the doctor just say, okay, take this my glass and wear. And you wear it and you're like, I can't see anything. And the doctor is like, try harder. And you're like, I'm trying harder, but I still can't see anything. What is happening? The doctor has not even understood. He has not diagnosed the problem before he's now recommending. So as much as possible, we're in a world where we are quick to give advices, especially parents, quick to give advice. But we have not even understood. Sometimes what the person is saying is really not what the person wants. There's something on that.
You can actually sit back to listen to the person.
Sometimes, I know women, my wife, sometimes they are talking, they want to be heard.
It's not that they want you to.
They don't want you to fix
anything. They don't want you to fix anything. They just
empathize with them.
You just have to understand.
Yes, and even within themselves, they as they're talking, they get the solution. Sometimes you just need to give that person that space to hear. But because we're in that place of always wanting to fix things, okay, I think you should do this. I think you should do this. We keep on playing out our own life, what we think is right to other people.
And I think that's where I remember I read something about the fact that, because with regards to understanding, one of the things that people do is when someone's talking to you, you are quick to respond.
You are not even listening. You are just
not listening. You're not listening to understand.
Yes.
And then you forget that there's a reason why you have 2 ears and 1 mouth. That means you should talk less than you hear. At least before you speak, you should have heard 2 times. And that hearing is where you get the understanding. Interesting, really. All right. And that makes you effective as a human being.
Yeah, because now think about the analogy of the doctor I give you, or the story of the doctor. If you didn't understand what your patient is really going through, how would you give the right prescription? If you didn't diagnose well, you can't prescribe well.
Okay.
So especially when it comes to interpersonal relationship, you need to be able to seek to understand first before you seek being understood.
Okay, so on this, the sixth one is the
Synergy.
synergy. As in interrelationship.
It's saying that 1 plus 1 is not 2. 1 plus 1 could be 3. 1 plus 1 could be 10. It means that what I could do on my own, if I come together with you, we could create even far more than what each of us could create.
As in, what we could create individually.
Exactly.
Now, this sounds very, very simple, but it will amaze you how difficult it is for some of us to embrace this. It appears very simple. I mean, somebody has what you want, and that person doesn't have what you have.
Exactly.
And unfortunately, we're not willing to, we have not even paid as much attention to take advantage of the limitations that we have, that we can get sorted, by synergizing with someone else. It's really amazing.
So that brings you to think win-win. People, when you struggle with think win-win, then it's even hard to have synergy, because probably there's always that thinking that, okay, this is what I have, that's what he has, but then we have not seen how we can how this thing can lock together, and how it creates even more for us to share. So it's like, I want more, and I know that if I did it alone, I probably would be getting, say, 50 folds. But if I come together with you, together we're making 300 folds. And 300 folds will share more, but
that's very geometric.
Yeah,
geometric.
Exactly. You understand? But I'm just thinking of that. No, why would this guy now be getting? Even if I say, okay, you're getting 120 and I'm getting 180, why would you be getting 120? You understand?
Very mindset.
Yeah.
But
So
it's a reality.
it's a reality of what is happening.
Yeah,
it's a reality of what is happening. Somebody will sacrifice going into, like say, business with another person, rather just making this small, when he knows that coming together you can serve even more people, make even more money for more people. I get my point. It's not easy for them, like I'll call it the lizard brain, or like say the ego, to want to, so that's the challenge most times.
Your willingness to share.
To share.
So why is the seventh habit outside this circle?
Sharpen the saw.
Yes, sharpen the saw.
So
why?
He's saying that everything as a human being, this whole thing runs on that one. And that one is all. It
runs on the sharpening the saw?
Yes, so he gives a story where a guy was told to go and cut a tree, and he kept on cutting the tree, trying to be effective, trying to be efficient. He was effective, efficient, trying to cut the tree. Meanwhile, the axe was not sharpened.
Was long.
So he was spending more time. And somebody told him, why don't you go and sharpen the saw? He said, I'm busy sawing, I don't have time.
Okay, I'm busy sawing.
I'm busy sawing. That I don't have time to go and sharpen the saw. And what is he trying to say? He's saying, in our various aspects of our lives, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, we need to always, how will I put it, sharpen the saw, more like refill those parts. Exercise is part of the physical side. Meditation is part of the spiritual side. Reading books is part of the mental side.
I thought that would mean enhancing capacity.
More like
rejuvenation.
Yes.
As in,
that's what sharpening the saw is. It's like
renourishing something.
Building yourself. Taking care of yourself, basically.
Taking care of yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, really?
Yeah, that's what it means.
Did I read that part very well? I should answer that question myself, right? Okay. But the point I'm trying to make is, sharpening the saws, especially with that analogy, sounds like develop yourself, prepare yourself, all of that.
Yeah.
But you're sounding like it's you replenishing.
Yeah, because obviously, for instance,
because replenishing sounds like replacing what has been lost, but building capacity, sharpening the saw sounds like becoming what you never were.
Well, for instance, if we take our car now and we're driving it out, the car is probably effective or more. It gets to a point where you have to service that car. That's like sharpening the saw. That's what I'm trying to say. It's more like maintaining.
So in the light of being effective,
Yeah.
you need to be
Conscious of the fact
that
that
you need to work on it, you need to work on yourself,
exactly.
because you're truly losing in on
Yes,
this.
as you're expending,
You're expending, you need to.
yes, you need to renew. You need to renew. Talked about production or production capacity or capability.
Okay.
You are spending out something, but you're not doing anything to replenish that thing.
So the beginning part.
Ah.
We're not going to talk so much about it because like I told you, I have to go and read it again. That beginning part. We're talking about this book because I believe it's one of the most important books to read. I suddenly realized, having wrestled with reading this book over the years, I actually see there's a lot of sense in it, and it is highly recommended. It's not a coincidence that it is like number one on
Goodreads.
Goodreads. What's Goodreads, please?
Goodreads, it's actually like, it's a site where you have people reading books. It's like one of the top sites when it comes to book reviews and all that. So,
and this is number one. This book that spelled like mathematics.
I was surprised seeing it there.
Oh really?
Yeah, you have other books in the list. Think and Grow Rich. A whole lot of How You Win Friends and Influence. There's some other books. There are a lot of free books. You know.
So why didn't you? Okay, it's done already. The book is published. It's been in the market for so long. But I'm just wondering, just like you said, why was this book? Because truly, I imagine it was difficult for you. Yeah, it was difficult for you to read.
Yeah.
It was difficult for me to read.
Yeah.
And all that.
I think the style of.
Do writers always? Do you think it was considering volume? Because sometimes I just wonder, are people considering volume? Is that why the book is this voluminous and difficult to read? Couldn't it have, like you said, mentioned it here, it could have been 7 books, could have broken it down to make it easy. You think I'm lazy?
I don't think you're lazy, but I think people are different and they approach things differently. There are some people that just write short books. As a man thinker, James Allen writes short books. Some people write bigger books. There's some people that write bigger books than this.
Bigger books than this?
Yes.
I need someone to set up a program that will help me to read these ones. As in bigger books than
this. This is basically how many pages?
About 350 thereabouts.
So you have books of 800 pages. There's a book I'm about reading now, Enlightenment Now by Steven Pinker. I think it's a book Bill Gates recommended. It's about 800 pages.
800 pages.
Yeah, and there are books of 1,000. There are books of so. It all depends. It all depends on what the writer has in mind. Because we are all unique. It's really our uniqueness that is showing in our books, and all that.
Okay. So it's the number one book on
Goodreads,
and it is not a coincidence. It has its reason. Written by Stephen Covey. He died in 2012.
Yeah,
thereabouts.
And he lived the principle, because I googled him and I saw his family. He had like 9 children. I know
that was like
9 children.
Started with the end in mind.
And he has grandchildren like almost, I don't know how many, and then
I've seen that picture.
Yeah, and he had great grandchildren. There's a picture where he was with all of them. Yeah,
wow.
And he was just 79 when he had that accident with his bicycle, and from there he.
And it's your own number one book.
Yeah, he's like my number one.
That's your number one book.
Yeah, 7 Habits.
Okay.
There are other more complicated books, but I'm just like foundational. Like I think it's basic. There are other more.
Now there's he also has the
8
habits, but we're not talking about that. We're going to be talking about
awesome
that some other time.
Yeah.
And so here we are. Thank you very much, Victor, for being here.
It's an honor.
I don't know what is the next book you want to talk about. Someday soon.
Probably I'll be, I don't know, maybe Good to Great.
Good to Great.
Enlightenment Now. There are a lot of books.
Okay, so this is PERICLEZ, your favorite personal development and self-help platform where you get to talk about books, and all the beautiful and wonderful things you can derive from them. Certainly, these books help shorten your learning curve and help you to become a better version of yourself. Tune into our program some other time. It surely will be an opportunity for you to learn and grow. Thank you very much, Victor, for being here. I really appreciate it.
Oh, no.
All right. Thank you very much.